I definitely think that artificial intelligence has a place in all healthcare, but particularly in dentistry, just creating a standard of care, clinical consistency, a way to help patients understand what's going on better and make everybody better. And like, it can be really frustrating if you have the expectation that you're going to go in and the AI is going to pull up everything that you would diagnose. But humans are not 100% accurate. And humans are the thing that trained AI. And then they're making the expectation that AI can be better than a human. And AI is not. It's more consistent, but not better. I genuinely and truly believe that hygienists will be the driver of the adoption of AI in healthcare. Your patients see you more than the doctor, and their exposure to AI will be through the dentist and through you as a hygienist.
Yeah, this is a tale, oh yeah, a tale of two hygienists. So there might be only one, bringing the best of dental knowledge, and we do it all with ease. We cover oral health and screening, and preventing gum disease. We're gonna do a lot of learning, and have a little bit of fun working at the dentist. A tale of two hygienists.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of A Tale of Two Hygienists podcast, an Endeavor Business Media production. This is episode number 409. I'm your host, Andrew Johnston, and thank you so much for being with us today. If you have not had the opportunity yet to sign up for our newsletter, I would love for you to check that out. You can sign up over on our website, ataleoftwohygienists.com. And basically what you're going to get each month are two different types of emails from me. The first one is going to be about maybe halfway through the month, around the 15th, we try and send it out. And we call that one In the News. And it's exactly that. There's some headlines, there's some stories. I just added a new section for my recommendations, things that I think that are interesting, things that make me think. I don't know, maybe sometimes it's just something that makes me laugh. There's one that's going to come out next month that I'm already just going down a rabbit hole on. I think that's really funny. It's a social media account that I want to share with you. But the bigger idea is I want to give you something for yourself, of course, but something that you can talk to your patients about, something that you can use to connect with them maybe on a different level, because everyone has a different type of personality. And so I'm going to give you a wide range of topics that you can think about, and then you can choose which one that you might want to talk about with your patients. And again, we know that through our coaching and our advocacy for our patients, that they're more willing to accept all of that if they can connect with us on a different level. So that's the idea with that one. Now, the second email, it's a recap email. It's all of the episodes that went out for that month. Generally, we put out about 3 shows a week plus a bonus episode twice a month. So you're looking at around 15 different topics and guests to choose from. It's hard to keep track of all that. So I put it all in one place as a reminder for you to see, and then you can go back and look at the ones that you might have missed. So yeah, please go over to the website, ataleoftwohygienists.com. A pop-up will appear and you enter your information and you'll sign up. In this week's episode, we welcome in Katie Poulsen to the show, and we talk about AI and its uses for dentistry. Special thanks to Misty Mattingly again for jumping on and co-hosting this one with me. Kind of related, kind of not. I saw a post this past week from another podcaster. They created 8 brand new podcasts in about the span of a week that is fully automated with AI. So the scripts, the reads, editing, posting, literally everything that you can think of that is in the creation of I guess not interview style, but everything else that's in the creation of a podcast is a bot doing all of this. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable, if I'm being honest. But it just shows you how integrated artificial intelligence is in our world and how we need to get really comfortable with it playing at least a minor role in our lives moving forward. So Katie's here to talk to you about what she's seeing in dentistry, new advances, the ways that we are utilizing the technology in our practices, things to help you get a little bit more comfortable with it. She's an absolute wealth of knowledge. So if you have more questions or any other thoughts that you want to shoot her way, be sure to reach out. I'm sure she would love your emails. Next week, we have, I'm very excited about this one. We have the great Dr. Kim Cooch back on the show. It's always a blast having him on. One thing that you probably wouldn't know unless you've had a chance to maybe sit down and like hear how he interacts with people, or if you can talk to it, or if you've been able to talk with him yourself. But Dr. Cooch is one of the most personable people ever. And so we had sat down to record the podcast, but of course we started just chit-chatting like old friends do. and the record button hadn't even been hit yet. And I'm just thinking, man, I did it again. All of the good stuff is getting talked about. It's not even being captured yet. So it's a little bit clunky for next week's episode as we're going into it, but come back and listen to it, because after I hit that record button, Dr. Cooch just was Dr. Cooch, and it was the most amazing thing ever. So be sure to come back and listen to that one. I think that's pretty much it for me. I will be at Greater New York next week for a couple of days. So if you're around, I think I'm going to be recording at the Endeavor booth on Sunday and Monday, kind of at different times. So stop by and see me. I'm also not that hard to find on social media, and you can always email our podcast account. If you're going to be in town and want to meet up, let me know. We'll sure appreciate that. But with that, have a good weekend and enjoy this episode with Katie Poulsen.
A tale of two hygienists.
All right, welcome everyone into the interview portion of the podcast. I'm joined by Katie Poulsen. Thank you for being here today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to sit down with you.
What do you think about? No, stop. What do you think? Oh, and we probably should talk about our first interaction together, because I talked about it on the podcast. I still feel really bad about it.
Yeah, he was really critical.
I was such a jerk. It's become such a running joke in our little podcast groups. I told people about it.
Oh, you did?
In the company.
I didn't give it another thought. Just
oh my gosh,
Andrew.
I was so embarrassed by it. I'm like, Andrew, you don't know. Shut your stupid mouth.
He's just trying to be helpful.
Even yesterday, so we're talking, like Brittany and I were talking about something, and there's this other new podcast, and I'm like, oh, I want to be able to support them. I want to be able to get them on our show, or maybe we can do some collaboration stuff. It's for hygienists, whatever. And I said, should I reach out to them, and should I not? She's like, well, whatever you do, don't critique how they're doing it. And I'm like, dang it. It's such a running joke now. I feel really bad about that. But anyways.
Oh my gosh. Tell the people the story.
We'll come back to the story in a minute. But I want to give everyone a disclaimer. We are at ADA SmileCon right now. We are in the Podcast and Influencer Hub. It is the best setup of any podcast event ever, right?
I think so, yeah.
We love Voices of Dentistry. Yeah. Great venue, because we're all podcasters. We're all there. Is good for collaboration, get each other on our shows. Yeah. But having it at a bigger event, you can get so many of the speakers on, you can get some of the consultants on, you can get just everybody
just
in the industry.
So much content in one, in an easy, and I know that the audio then is the struggle, right? On the back end, but
it can be, yeah.
It can be, right?
Yeah. We've already started the episode, by the way.
Okay.
And so, it can be. I think with technology nowadays, we can kind of mute the background noises and stuff. But there's also the energy, right? I kind of listen to podcasts and be like, well, are they having fun? And if they're having fun, it almost doesn't matter as much what they say. So even if it's kind of a boring content, they're it'll be fun. So it'll be good.
Yeah.
So I want to save the story for the listeners that haven't heard me talk about this, and probably maybe a year ago or whatever. And Misty Mattingly's on with us. So when Katie and I first met, this is a terrible story. When we first met, it was at Voices of Dentistry. We kind of talked back and forth on maybe LinkedIn or something before that. And hey, we'll meet up at Voices of Dentistry. And so I started listening to some of their episodes, and I listened to one with, I think it was Josie Sewell, I think was the one I listened to.
Oh, I love Josie too.
And she's awesome, right?
Yeah. Amazing.
And I was just like, that could be better audio. The quality of the audio is not that great. So when I first met her, I was like, instead of being a normal human being, be like, hey, it's great to meet you. Where are you from? Do you have a family? All the regular stuff that we do. I was like, hey, do you want me to help you with your audio? Audio quality is terrible.
Isn't that funny?
No, it's terrible. It's the worst.
It is a little bad.
It's very bad. So I felt bad this whole entire time.
So if you're wondering, the podcast is Dental Intelligence, a Growth in Dentistry. And you can go back and listen to that episode, and you can either agree or not agree with Andrew if the audio is terrible.
Should we put a poll up and be agree or not agree? Weigh in now. Well, I think I don't know. I think I'd still win that one, unfortunately.
Oh no, you do.
Anyway, but obviously things got a lot better for you. We figured it out, but also, I do not profess to be an audiophile. I profess to be a hygienist that worked for worked in marketing at a dental intelligence company or an intelligence company, and wanted to share the good news. So the messaging was awesome. It was spot on. Do you want to talk about your background a little bit more?
Sure.
Kind of where you're coming from?
Yeah. So I'm a hygienist of 18 years. My dad was a dentist and my brother's a dentist. So I worked in family practice. I still occasionally do, just because makes me sad to not have that as my identity. Many of you probably can
I get
attest to that.
Yeah.
And then I got a graduate degree in communication, which was kind of a weird little. It's a fun. I'm happy to share because many of the hygienists out there that might be like, what was like my next step? I don't want to I don't want to get a teaching degree. I know I want to do something else. Like I felt really like conflicted with that for a long time. Anyway, so I studied professional communication and actually I did my thesis on dentist and hygienist communication.
Oh,
I like that.
yeah, that's awesome.
And really the goal was to just like really understand how I can make that better. I had obviously I worked for a family practice, and if we had a problem with each other, we would just tell each other. But I just really understand like the struggles that a lot of hygienists and dentists struggle with as far as like the communication breakdown in between a practice. Anyway, long story short, that actually took me to Dental Intelligence because I had used the product in my practice and started to do marketing for their company just because I had an experience in communication and writing and things like that, which quickly turned into customer product marketing.
Yeah.
And now I work for a company called Vidya Health, which is artificial intelligence.
Oh, I'm so excited. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I've just started looking at it. It's super cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
really happy that Misty's here, because Misty has been looking at AI. Like, she's posted about it. She's excited
Yeah.
about it.
I love it.
Her and her company, they embrace it. It's the next new thing, right? Like in the world. It's not
Yeah.
just in dentistry.
Oh, yeah. No.
But it's one of the things, in my opinion, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but like dentistry is so far behind usually, right?
Yeah.
But artificial intelligence, I think we're almost not too far behind this time.
Yeah, and the healthcare, the medicine has largely adopted AI, but not to the degree that I think dental can. And the reason why is when you go and get an X-ray done, who's reading the radiograph? When you get like an X-ray of your leg, it's a radiologist. That's someone's entire job. But in dentistry, is that your entire job to read a radiograph? It's just a very small portion of it. And so I definitely think that artificial intelligence has a place in all healthcare, but particularly in dentistry, just creating a standard of care, clinical consistency, a way to help patients understand what's going on better and make everybody better. And like, long story short, I really do genuinely feel like I'm an old enough hygienist that I started practicing without loops. Never again would I ever do it without it. And that is how AI will become.
I absolutely agree, because AI, that the human eye, it gets tired throughout the day, right? So we know the first time we're ever looking at our x-rays at the early first morning, we're more crisp, right? And after you sit there and look at it, just like you said, a radiologist,
yeah.
right? Like they're looking at just one x-ray. We're looking at lots of x-rays, 18 small little x-rays. And so...
And looking for different pathologies.
Correct.
Yeah. And also on a time clock, when you have a patient in the other room that has a dam on or whatever else.
Absolutely.
Or you just got yelled at because people hate the dentist, right? Like there's this, I mean, in medicine, their patients aren't awake when they are performing surgery.
Right.
Right.
True.
So there's just so many other factors other than even just being able to see it. It's just this psychology of dentistry, and like we're human.
Well, and I think it gives you the ability to to also help you with educating your patient on why they need treatment, because
where I think hygienists.
Yeah, that's a big play there for us in our profession, because there's this mistrust in dentistry, and AI really helps us with that, because it's that second opinion, unbiased, like reading of that x-ray. And so it's not this patient going, hey, does your doc wants a new Porsche outside? No, this is like legit.
And I would love to like say those two things, the second opinion and unbiased, because I feel like it's really important for artificial intelligence companies to be responsible in training or to educating the market correctly. And this is unbiased. Like if you know anything about AI, if you say AI is unbiased, they'll say that's not true.
It's not true.
Because AI is biased on what you train it on. So if you
that's
don't,
true.
yeah, if you don't know anything, well, it's important to understand that AI. So at Video Health, we handpicked 100 doctors and put thousands of X-rays in front of them and had them mark what the X-ray is, if it's what the carious lesion is, radiographic bone level, and in the future, in the coming months, some exciting new models that we have, and then we take that and train. Machine learning team takes that and trains the artificial intelligence, and then we give it new X-rays that it's never seen before, and then we say, "What is that?" And then it will put a box on there, or not. We could even give it a dog X-ray, and it would try to put a box on there, right? Because it's a machine that's like, well, I don't know, maybe carry, right? Like, and so and that's why it's really important that more than likely, as a hygienist, you've been exposed to a lot of softwares, and when you use AI, it's going to feel like you're just using another software, but what you're using is a medical device that is used on patients, much like any other medical device that you're using, your ultrasonic scaler, and for that reason, it should be FDA cleared and tested appropriately because it needs to be found appropriate to work for patients and not cause harm, right? And so.
Sorry,
Yeah, no,
for the
ahead.
FDA clearance though, are you saying that we want to use these devices as definitive diagnoses, or the
No.
model that's kind of
No.
now out there is more like I want someone else to double check my work. Kind
Exactly.
Of a thing.
And so, I was going to get to the third, the second opinion piece of it, with what you said, which was, I think really, this is why I think hygienists are so important. I really do think that AI is actually a third opinion. It's the hygienist comes in, takes a radiograph or maybe assistant. At least in Utah, this is how it works. I know that in some other states they have much more.
Sorry, Texas.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But not really.
They got local anesthesia.
I know, right?
I know. So did Georgia.
Yeah.
We
So-
only got Delaware left in the country.
But oh shit. Sorry.
It's all right.
I don't know if I can
Third
swear.
opinion.
Third opinion, yeah.
Third opinion.
You're good. So with third opinion, it really, so hygienists come in, they take their X-ray and they can explain what the artificial intelligence is, and they can have more autonomy in feeling like, okay, we agree that when the AI shows this, I'm going to talk about this and say, this looks like what Dr. So-and-so would fill, or what he would
Right.
put a crown on, or whatever. And then the doctor comes in and says the same thing, right? And so we've got two opinions, the hygienist and the dentist, because as soon as they leave the room, who do they ask?
Yeah.
They ask the hygienist. So and then also the artificial intelligence is the third. So that's why there's the second opinion is like a really big like talking point in the industry, but I really don't like it because I think, well, first of all, it has kind of a negative that you need a second opinion as a
doctor's
doctor.
not good enough. Yeah.
But also, hygienists should be included in that.
Agreed.
for sure.
So
For sure.
So
Yeah.
what I've seen in the social medias, because there was a post that just happened 2 days ago, I think, that someone asked about a particular software that was out there that gave a quote unquote second opinion, right? And they said, "Are you guys using this in this practice?" And the ensuing conversations after that was,
hot.
we are doing we don't agree with what it's diagnosing. We don't agree with what it's diagnosing. The way I read that was they're using it as a first opinion. They're not using it as hey, let's make sure that we're doing these things.
Yes.
And that's
So
scary.
So our study for our FDA clearance shows that doctors or diagnosing providers with the AI can increase diagnostic percentage by up to close to 30% without the AI, as opposed to with the AI. Without the AI and with the AI, they can diagnose more, obviously, because their eyes are drawn to things that maybe they wouldn't see otherwise.
Absolutely.
But it is very important to understand that AI cannot diagnose. Like my whole job in marketing is to make sure that we use right terminology. And they're like, how do you do this? I'm like, because I'm so used as a hygienist to like, I can't diagnose, but I can, like, you can
recommend.
I can recommend. And that's exactly what AI is doing. We talk about potential carious lesion, radiographic bone level. We're not even calling it a loss because we can't diagnose loss. Like, it doesn't. It's a machine. It doesn't diagnose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's consistent with what I would find doctor would find. Like there's so many words you have to put it in front, like the preamble of this.
Yeah.
Like, hey, by the way, we're doing this.
Yeah. And false positives and false negatives are a really important thing. It can be really frustrating if you have the expectation that you're going to go in and the AI is going to pull up everything that you would diagnose. But humans are not 100% accurate. And humans are the thing that trained AI. And so AI will not, it's the expectation that machines or AI can be, then they're making the expectation that AI can be better than a human. And AI is not. It's more consistent, but not better.
Correct. Agreed.
I'm surprised you got 100 doctors that come to some sort of consensus, because that's tough.
Well, we didn't, right? But if we've all sat through a board exam, right? How many probing? You remember that? And they all had to write down their probe, and then they took the average of the measurement, and you got it within 1 to 2 millimeters of it, and whether you got it right or wrong, it's the same idea.
Yeah.
It's just on scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to that point, though, like, so I'm an examiner for a testing agency. And even then, the variance, like you have to have 2 out of 3 that agree with the candidate, right? There's a majority
there's
rules
testing,
kind of a thing.
and it's the same thing with machine learning. There's definitely testing.
What did the input look like? Like, how does the machine? I don't know if you're probably on this side, like the tech side of it, but like, how does that machine learn though? Like, I feel like that's kind of like the unknown for a lot of hygienists, because we want the clinical side. But like, how do we teach a machine other than just like saying like, this is what it is? Like,
oh my gosh, I wish that this is so out of my scope. And and if any of our machine learning engineers are listening, Jesse, he's like, Dot, why do you answer like that? But I can definitely try to do my best. Let me get my thoughts. Make sure they're eloquent. They're not going to be eloquent in this
our podcast is not eloquent, so you don't have to worry about that. It's fine.
Just like I said, they take all of those thousands of annotations and they create patterns out of them. Essentially, it's just numbers and coding, right?
Coding.
And they just create a bunch of numbers, and then they train on those numbers, and then they either say yes or no.
I didn't want you to hit it.
Yeah, good idea. I almost knocked over my drink. I got real crazy with my hands. And then it really, the magic happens is when you've trained the model enough to add in X-rays that it hasn't seen before, and then giving it like a yes or no answer. And that's really why our company is white labeled, which means it's uses under a different name at Dentrix, because it's really important for us to have as much data as we possibly can, because that is what powers AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Dentrix Detect AI is powered by Vidya Health. So if you use Dentrix, and you've used AI in that platform in smart imaging, you've experienced Vidya Health's AI.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So like the users, are they also like, are you collecting the user diagnosis and data, making sure that like they're being consistent too, or are they the dentists out there in the world just too far of an outlier to be able to give that to the machines to learn on?
Not yet. Yeah. With FDA, it's very important to just collect and train on the models, and then you submit to FDA. You don't add additional data to that and then keep training it. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through another FDA, which you do. You go through multiple FDA clearances, but we don't retroactively add like the X-rays that are being like taken today and run through Vidya Health don't get put into like the machine and to teach it. Like
that'll be like the next step.
Yes.
And so when you go for an additional approval,
yes, exactly,
it'll be a bigger batch of data. Yeah. We talk a lot about X-rays right now. Is there anything else that you guys are, because you guys are across healthcare.
Oh, yeah.
What else is machine learning / AI looking at?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about. I mean, I don't know. Video health is just imaging, but I feel like it's my responsibility to know about AI across dentistry in general. There's voice AI, which I'm sure many hygienists are way more familiar with than imaging AI, just because maybe you even tried it at one point in your career, which is just largely far and above way better now than it ever was before at being able to help you perio chart more accurately. Using the same technology that Alexa does. It's the same tech. Yeah, that's one thing to point out. Like AI, if you're scared of it, you use it probably every day and you don't know through Netflix.
Everybody uses it.
Yep.
It listens to us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be getting ads about AI here
Yeah.
later on our phones, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. ChatGPT, which I'm sure you have heard of. I saw yesterday the chief dental officer of Tend. He gave a great a talk on like how to use ChatGPT to help write insurance narratives. You don't want to give it any PHI,
Yeah, of course.
but like helping it write, giving prompts to have it write insurance narratives. We use in our software, we have the ability to take all of the annotations on the radiograph, and we have what's called an insurance summary that attaches all of the x-rays and the findings onto an insurance summary, so you can submit it to the insurance company. So I think with like an already written insurance claims or insurance like written out ChatGPT summary, that would be like so much faster, right? And
probably a higher approval process.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. What do you guys have as far as like that goes? Do you guys have anything? Not AI, but as far as like submitting claims, do you guys add radiographs and add summaries and all that stuff yet, or is it just only if it gets denied?
No, we do. We definitely do. But typically that's more like a manual process, right?
It's very manual.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you're clipping
And
out the pictures and
we've
sending
been talking with Videa Health about actually doing something with them as far as that
there's
that piece.
it's really
learning about it. You're just learning about all the different AIs.
We try not to serve two masters in trying to like serve the payers and the dental providers, but if it really can serve both really well to make sure that the payers are paying what's actually needs to be done and also protect for insurance fraud at the same time.
No, I love that. Was that Dr. Salerno that you're talking about?
Yeah.
You probably should get him on here and I could add a little part of that, because that is.
Yeah.
I don't know any
He's
other
here
dental company
today,
that's doing that though, right? Like, I mean, Ten's doing it sounds like, but I don't know if a lot of other DSOs have embraced that. ChatGPT for
Yeah.
I mean,
the
it's a cool
narratives.
concept. I mean, to use ChatGPT, because a lot of insurance carriers, like, typically will have like standard narratives that they can kind of just cut and paste and then add in the patient information.
The point. it's narrow AI right now. We don't have general AI, which would be like robots, which is what you're thinking of. But
Right.
like narrow is something that does repetitive, like a human task that is repetitive. And if you've ever copied and pasted notes before, I mean, oh my gosh, I had a friend that found out her doctor was cheating by copy paste notes because she copied and pasted his previous message, right?
Oh,
so
no.
copy paste can be detrimental.
Use ChatGPT to not get caught for cheating on somebody.
Goodness.
Isn't that insane?
That is insane.
Anyway,
that's
a nice
so
little
sad.
sad. Sorry.
Oh, that has to hurt too, finding that out, right? Like,
my
especially.
my friends call me Debbie Downer. I am so sorry. I just took that to a really dark place.
Well, that's using ChatGPT
To save marriages.
to
relationships.
narratives
I'm
on
sure they would love
dentistry
that.
to then cheating.
Right? Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of that in dentistry.
Yeah.
Yeah, there actually, unfortunately, is. Yeah.
And then I also heard Gladwell talking yesterday about using AI to help make the crowns better. So like the
I would
margin.
love to hear how that happens.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you should.
That's
have him on.
fascinating. I don't think that our
Yeah.
listeners care about that as much.
No,
but
no.
to me,
but-
that's
Yeah. So if you've ever had an opportunity to take an intraoral scan and of like a CAD milled crown, like in-house milled crown, and the margins have to be incredibly accurate, and it's tricky, and so you send it back, and the AI makes it better because it knows what tooth it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I love
Yeah, I think
that.
there is some cool things coming with
Oh my gosh.
the use
It's
of scanners
such a fun
and
time to be in
AI,
dentistry.
and it is.
Yeah.
I mean, technology is changing so fast. I think you're right. Exactly. You know what you kind of saying earlier, Andrew. Like we've been so far behind, the medical community, and I feel like with AI, we finally are like we're right there with them.
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways, I think we might be ahead.
I told Andrew when I was like, hey, I'm coming and I want you to have your show. Because I'm speaking on the fact that I genuinely and truly believe that hygienists will be the driver of the adoption of AI in healthcare.
I
agree.
absolutely agree. And in our practices, our hygienists are the ones who use it the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And
if I
your
look at-
patients see you more than the doctor, and their exposure to AI will be through the dentist and through you as a hygienist.
But also, I think it's helped with that communication piece between the doctor and the hygienist, right? But it
Yep.
allows them, and that's what I mean by it's that another look, right? That third,
Yeah.
you
That's-
call it your third opinion.
Yeah.
But it really helps them be much more congruent and look at things because there
Yeah.
was always this whole it's the doctor versus the hygienist kind of thing sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And the hygienist feels one way and says, oh no, this is bone loss, or this right here is there's calculus here or whatever, and the doctor may have thought otherwise. And now it really helps them to go and it's like, oh, you know what, that is there, okay,
Yeah.
good. Or hey, here's why I don't necessarily agree with it. It allows a conversation that I don't think that we used to have before. It was used to like, okay, that's what I said, so do it kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I
Right.
really think
Prior,
that AI is really helping build that relationship between doctors and hygienists because it allows them to have a conversation and sit there and they can talk through it more so than they ever have because it's like
We used to have
like-
with our onboarding like a whole slide, like look, and it's for hygienists. It's like hygienists, you have to have conversations with your doctor because a lot of hygienists are like, just tell me what to do, we'll do it, and then kind of maybe either be happy with that or not happy with it, whatever. And I think Heartland actually does this. You guys probably have it also. I know Coast has it, but it's an initial conversation with doctor that says, when I see this, what will you be recommending to the patient, or what will we be diagnosing for the patient? So
standard
getting
care
on-
agreement.
Yeah, trying to get on the same page, right? The AI will help facilitate that conversation because
Absolutely.
because it makes you have a conversation about something. And
does.
if you guys don't agree, let's look at this third opinion of, can we both kind of maybe shadow to the middle on our conversation or on
Yeah.
our opinions or something like
And
that.
oftentimes it is the middle, right? Because it's just like anything in life or anything, right? Like you're both looking at it from your own perspective and from what you have and what you're trying to accomplish for the patient. And it really does help. And then it brings in the patient too in a new way as well.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is so awesome.
This is actually kind of what drew me to it in the first place was way back to my saying that I studied the communication between dentists and hygienists. My recommendation at that point was to have these discussions prior. When you see this is what you treat, and then I can have the autonomy to have those conversations before you get into the room, and then that can make that better. But with AI, it really genuinely makes it so those conversations have to happen, and it keeps both parties, the dentist and the hygienist, accountable.
Absolutely.
So when a hygienist has spent the time to talk about periodontal disease for the last 20 minutes and has said we're probably going to do scaling and root planing, and the dentist comes in and says looks good,
I know, I hate
That
that.
never happens. Come on,
hate
guys. That never happens.
Looks
Then-
good. I'm like,
Looks
dude,
good. See you next
it
time.
looks good because I already cleaned them up.
Yeah.
Right? Like I hate that because
Yeah.
by the time you come in, they already, you should have seen
Yeah.
what I saw when they sat in this chair.
oh, believe me, I have taken photos before and after just to prove the point.
Because I hate that. Oh,
Yeah.
it looks good.
I know.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I worked
but-
hard on this.
But it makes it so the dentist also can't just come in. They have to have the conversation as well, because on the radiograph, there's red lines that go up the length of the tooth, and the patient, and we've already had these conversations, and now they are educated enough as well because they know, we've talked about it, and they know that that's bone loss, and they know that those are red lines, and they don't want those red lines there anymore.
I love when patients also teach themselves, okay, and then on your recall when you come back again, or on your restorative appointment when you come back again,
Yeah.
let's look at these things again.
Yes.
And then they're like, oh,
That
I remember
is
that's
powerful.
what that means.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's
it is.
extremely powerful and
yes,
something that
historical
we
treatment.
have not done really a good job at throughout, I've been in dentistry. Yesterday, I was like, 29 years. I know it's getting up there. I'm like, I'm really getting old. I think I'm only 29 years old.
I do too. I'm not getting older.
I'm not getting older. I've been but I've been in
Yeah.
dentistry for 29 years, and just seeing how that has changed. You know, I just really think that AI is, and we are really at this brink of like hygienist, our role really changing. Over the next 10 years, I really see that we're going to see a huge growth in this field.
One thing I wanted to point out before we get off is also like you can take. So I don't know if you guys are huddle believers, like doing a morning huddle.
I love a huddle. I think I just spoke about it yesterday, and you have to start. It's like I think it's like I played sports. So it's team, get everybody together. Let's play out like what are our plays for the day.
So
what do we have?
So having a dashboard that is powered by AI, it pulls in all of the possible potential carious lesions or areas where there is radiographic bone level, and it hasn't been treated in the past. So it directly, you don't have to do chart auditing before you get into the room. Like it draws your attention. I know that when Mr. Jones comes in, I need to talk about the fact that when he came in last time, we talked about getting this filling done, but it still hasn't been done. And then you can pull up the images side by side, and you can have a box that's smaller when he was there 2 years ago and a box that's way bigger now. And that's so obvious to them. Like, that got bigger.
Can you imagine how much
that.
easier that's going to be for your like hygiene leadership team? Because you know what like painstaking audits are, right? Like
It's
you have to
so
pull
helpful.
up chart by
DSO
freaking chart by freaking
Or
chart.
large.
I think
large.
even from like the board of dentistry perspective. So
Oh, yeah.
like
For
I
editing.
have said for us, like maybe we should like have something like that because we're reviewing cases, right? And I see this on the board. Like you have 18 people or and everybody has a different opinion or everybody thinks about it differently. And so I think that utilizing AI even for like board review cases, to be able to look at cases, I think there's definitely a place for that.
No.
Do you think, and kind of, this is probably outside of what we're talking about here because we're dental, but in the future, is AI going to take jobs?
That's a really good question. It can't. The AI that exists currently cannot replace a human because back to what I said, it does narrow. It's narrow AI is what exists right now, meaning it replaces tasks that are repetitive. Can it, in general, like in not just in dentistry, can AI replace a job? Absolutely. If you have a job that is repetitive, it could replace you, and it has. Just
like claims. Claims are repetitive.
Machines have replaced people over time. I mean, there was that whole building cars, and machines took over the line at that point. It's how it's the way things are moving for sure. Absolutely. Will it replace jobs in dentistry? It can't.
Right.
You need a human to do the work. Possible. I mean, in a future that maybe we all don't exist anymore. Maybe.
Then who cares about the answer to that question? We don't exist.
I don't know. I have seen some
There is
technology
robots.
where they have robots that'll
there-
do like crowns and stuff, but that's still at very earliest stages.
Yeah, but it's not going to die. You have to have a human to diagnose. And the future that I'm excited about, and it's close. If we're going to talk about future of AI, is particularly in dentistry, is the ability to pull up a radiograph, and this is why integration with the practice management software is so important. Pull up a radiograph, have the AI suggest areas, or look at possible areas. You approve that area. You approve the treatment that needs to be done in there, and it automatically creates a treatment plan that automatically gets sent to the insurance company, and it's a click of one
that would
button.
be great. That would be powerful.
Well, I think the bigger picture, like the message that you have for us today, I think that I love is this is going to help hygienists. I don't want to say reclaim the power that we used to have, because I feel like hygiene today, we're looked at just two scrapers a lot of times.
Yeah.
And this
I
is
hate
going to
that.
bring us back
Makes me
into
sad.
the ability to be a true partner in the practices
Yes,
again.
absolutely.
So
I definitely believe that hygienists are, I say this all the time, is the resident educator in the practice. And this helps you fulfill that role. Your job in the practice is is way more than just scraping teeth. You are the educator in the practice, and AI can help you do that better.
But they have to embrace it. They have to.
They have to embrace it.
We have to, as a profession, embrace AI.
Yeah.
They do.
Early adopters. Let
adopters.
us do it. Even if your practice isn't doing it yet, learn about it. Be prepared. And then when your practice does finally get it, because it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming.
Then you do it.
Yep.
Thank you for being here today. If someone wanted to reach out to you, how could they find you?
Yeah, they can. Let's have them reach out to Katie at videa.com.
Make sure I
No,
put that.
that's not right, guys. It's
Okay,
.ai.
Hold on,
Katie.
hold on.
Come on, Katie.
Katie at videa.ai. I don't even know my own email.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll edit that, clean it up, make it sound a little bit better.
You don't have to. I don't care.
Okay, we'll leave it that. All right. Well, it's fine. Hey, this is what real podcasting is.
Yeah, it's real life, right?
Yeah, go to videa.ai and you'll find me too.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a tale, oh yeah, a tale of two hygienists. So there might be only one, bringing the best of dental knowledge, and we do it all with ease. We cover oral health and screening, and preventing gum disease. We're gonna do a lot of learning, and have a little bit of fun working at the dentist. A tale of two hygienists.